She thought it was finally her moment. After months of late-night calls, perfect messages, and promises that felt like a dream, she agreed to meet him in person. She left her house smiling, but a few hours later, her phone went dark, and everything we thought we knew about him started to fall apart. What investigators found next was something no one could have imagined.
Welcome to True Crime Tapes, where we bring you the most gripping, mysterious, and heart-stopping stories from the world of true crime. If you're fascinated by the unknown and want to uncover the secrets that the world tries to hide, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a chilling story. And for those of you already part of our community, welcome back. We're glad to have you with us. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts and theories, because we love hearing from you. True Crime Tapes. The truth is always stranger than fiction.
Her name was Maya Chen, and she was 23 years old when her life changed forever. Maya was the kind of person who lit up a room without even trying. Her friends described her as thoughtful, the type who remembered your coffee order and texted you on bad days just to check in. She had just graduated with a degree in elementary education and was working at a local community center, teaching art classes to kids after school. She loved watercolor painting, indie music, and those cozy bookstores where you could spend hours just browsing. But there was one thing Maya wanted that felt just out of reach: a real connection, a relationship built on understanding, laughter, and genuine care. She'd tried dating the traditional way, meeting people through friends, at coffee shops, through work connections, but nothing ever clicked. So in the spring of 2019, she did what millions of people do every single day. She downloaded a dating app. It wasn't something she took lightly. Maya was cautious by nature. She read articles about online safety. She told her roommate, Jessica, about every match she made. She never gave out her address. She kept her guard up. But then, she met him, or at least she thought she did. His name was Ethan Brooks. His profile said he was 26, worked in graphic design, and had recently moved to the area for a fresh start. His photos showed someone outdoorsy, hiking trails, sunset beaches, a golden retriever named Scout. His bio was simple but warm. Looking for someone who laughs at bad jokes and doesn't mind spontaneous road trips. Maya swiped right, and he matched instantly. Their first conversation lasted 4 hours. He asked her about her students, her favorite books, the places she wanted to travel. He shared stories about his childhood, his love for design, the reasons he left his hometown. Everything felt easy, natural, like talking to someone she'd known for years. They texted every day, then every hour. Then came the phone calls, long, meandering conversations that stretched past midnight. He had this way of making her feel seen, understood, like she mattered. For 3 months, Maya and Ethan built something that felt real, but they had never met in person, and that's where the story begins to shift. At first, the distance didn't bother Maya. Ethan lived about 45 minutes away, and between her work schedule and his freelance projects, finding time to meet felt genuinely difficult. He suggested coffee dates, but something always came up. A last-minute client deadline, a family emergency, a car issue. Maya understood. Life happens. But then she started noticing patterns. Whenever she suggested a video call, Ethan hesitated. He'd say his webcam was broken, or that he hated how he looked on screen, or that he preferred the intimacy of just hearing her voice. At first it seemed sweet, old-fashioned even, but after weeks of voice-only calls, Maya began to wonder. She mentioned it to Jessica one night over takeout. "Doesn't it feel weird that you've never seen him in real time?" Jessica asked, stabbing at her pad thai with a fork. "He sent me pictures," Maya said defensively. "Yeah, but pictures can be old, or edited, or not even him." Maya laughed it off, but the seed of doubt had been planted. She started paying closer attention. Ethan only called during certain hours, usually between 8 and 11 at night. Never in the morning, never during lunch. When Maya asked why, he said his work schedule was unpredictable, that he was an introvert who needed alone time during the day. It made sense, sort of. His social media profiles were sparse, a few photos, minimal activity, no tagged pictures with friends or family. When Maya asked about it, he said he valued privacy, that he didn't like plastering his life online. Again, it made sense. Sort of, but Jessica wasn't convinced. Something feels off, she said one evening, scrolling through Ethan's profile on Maya's phone. Look at this. These photos look like they're from a catalog, and why doesn't he have any friends commenting on anything? Not everyone lives on social media, Maya replied, though her voice lacked conviction. Just be careful, okay? Jessica said, handing the phone back. I don't want you getting hurt. Maya promised she would be, but deep down she didn't want to believe that Ethan could be anything other than who he said he was, because the connection they had felt so rare, so precious. And she'd spent so long feeling invisible in the dating world that having someone pay attention to her, really pay attention, felt like something worth holding on to. So when Ethan finally said the words Maya had been waiting to hear, she didn't hesitate. I think it's time we meet in person, he texted one Tuesday evening. I want to see you, for real. Maya's heart raced as she typed back, I'd love that. They made plans for that Saturday, a small cafe downtown, 2 in the afternoon, public, safe, perfect. And then he asked to finally meet. Saturday, June 15th, 2019. Maya woke up early, even though the meeting wasn't until 2. She was too excited to sleep in. She spent an hour in front of her closet, pulling out outfits and tossing them onto her bed. Too formal, too casual, too boring. She finally settled on something simple, a pale yellow sundress with white sneakers. Effortless, but put together. She wanted to look like herself, not like she was trying too hard. Jessica knocked on her door around 11. You look cute, she said, leaning against the doorframe. Nervous? Terrified, Maya admitted with a laugh. What if I'm awkward? What if he's disappointed? He won't be, Jessica assured her. But text me when you get there, okay? And when you leave, and if anything feels weird, just bail. I'll come pick you up. I will, Maya promised. At 1:30, she grabbed her purse, a small crossbody bag with her phone, wallet, and a little bottle of perfume she'd bought just for the occasion. She checked her reflection one last time, took a deep breath, and headed downstairs. Her mom was in the kitchen, prepping vegetables for dinner. You look lovely, sweetheart, she said, wiping her hands on a towel. Where are you off to? Just meeting a friend for coffee, Maya said casually. She hadn't told her parents about Ethan yet. She wanted to see how the date went first. Have fun. Be safe. I will. Maya kissed her mom on the cheek and walked out the door. The cafe was downtown, about a 20-minute drive from her house. She'd been there before, a cozy spot with mismatched furniture and local art on the walls. It felt like neutral ground, safe. She texted Ethan at 1:47 p.m. On my way, see you soon. He replied instantly. Can't wait. Maya smiled and set her phone in the cup holder. At 2:03 p.m., she arrived at the cafe. She parked across the street and checked her appearance in the rearview mirror one last time. Her hands were shaking slightly. She texted Jessica. I'm here. Wish me luck. Jessica replied with a string of heart emojis. Maya took a breath, grabbed her bag, and stepped out of the car. The cafe was moderately busy. A few couples, someone working on a laptop, a group of friends laughing in the corner. Maya scanned the room, looking for Ethan. He wasn't there yet. She ordered a latte and sat at a table near the window, where she could see the street. She checked her phone. 2:11 p.m. Maybe he was running late. She texted him. I'm here at a table by the window. No response. 2:20 p.m. Still nothing. 2:35 p.m. Her latte was getting cold. At 2:50 p.m., Maya called him. It rang twice, then went to voicemail. She tried again. Same thing. By 3 o'clock, Maya felt a knot forming in her stomach. Maybe something happened. Maybe his car broke down. Maybe his phone died. She texted Jessica. He's not here yet. I'm giving him a few more minutes. Jessica replied, That's weird. Keep me updated. At 3:15 p.m., Maya paid for her untouched latte and left the cafe. She tried calling Ethan again from her car. Voicemail. Disappointment settled over her like a heavy blanket. She'd been stood up. She drove home in silence, replaying the last 3 months in her head. Had she misread everything? Had it all been a game? When she pulled into her driveway at 3:42 p.m., she sent one final text to Ethan. I waited. I don't know what happened, but I hope you're okay. She went inside, kicked off her sneakers, and collapsed onto her bed. Jessica texted, You home? Maya replied, Yeah, he never showed. She didn't hear from Ethan that night, or the next day, or the day after that, and that's when things started to feel wrong. Sunday morning, Maya woke up hoping to find an apology text, an explanation, anything, but there was nothing. She tried calling him again, straight to voicemail. She checked his social media. No new posts, no activity. By Sunday evening, disappointment had turned into confusion. This doesn't make sense, Maya told Jessica over FaceTime. We talked for 3 months. Why would he just disappear? Maybe he got cold feet, Jessica suggested. Or maybe he was never planning to show up. But why keep talking to me for so long? Jessica didn't have an answer. Monday came and went. Still nothing. Tuesday, Maya's mom noticed she seemed distracted. Everything okay, honey? She asked over dinner. Yeah, just friend stuff, Maya said vaguely. Wednesday, Maya started feeling uneasy. She went back through their old conversations looking for clues, something she'd missed, but everything seemed normal, sweet even. Thursday night, she made a decision. She wasn't going to let this go. She opened his profile on the dating app. Still active, still the same photos. She screenshot his profile and reverse image searched the photos on Google, and that's when her stomach dropped. One of his photos, the hiking one with the golden retriever, appeared on a stock photography website. The description read, Young man enjoying outdoor adventure with dog. Her hands started shaking. She checked the beach photo, another stock image, the profile picture, a modeling portfolio from 2016. None of the photos were real. Ethan Brooks didn't exist. Maya's chest tightened. She felt dizzy, nauseous. 3 months of conversations, 3 months of trust, and the person on the other end had been lying the entire time. But why? And who was he really? She called Jessica immediately. I need you to come over, Maya said, her voice trembling. Right now. Jessica arrived within 15 minutes. Maya showed her the search results. Oh my God, Jessica whispered. Maya, this is serious. You need to report this. Report what? That I got catfished? That someone lured you to a location under false pretenses. That's not just catfishing. That's dangerous. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Do you think he was there? Watching me? I don't know, Jessica said honestly, but I think we need to tell someone. That night, Maya filed a report with the local police department. She brought printed transcripts of their conversations, screenshots of the profile, and a timeline of events. The officer who took her statement was kind but cautious. Unfortunately, catfishing itself isn't illegal, he explained, but we'll document this. If anything escalates, if he contacts you again, or if you feel threatened, call us immediately. Maya left the station feeling frustrated and scared, but the story was far from over, because 3 days later, another woman walked into that same police station with the exact same story. Before we close out this case, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from right now? Our viewers come from all over the world, and I'd love to know where you're tuning in. Drop your city or country in the comments below. It's always amazing to see how far these stories reach and how connected we all are, even when we're thousands of miles apart. So go ahead, let me know where you are. I'll be reading through the comments and replying to as many as I can. Detective Sarah Lynn had been with the department for 12 years, and she'd seen her share of online scams, romance fraud, catfishing, identity theft. But when the second report came in, just 72 hours after Maya's, she knew this was different. The second victim's name was Alyssa Porter. She was 28, worked as a nurse, and had been talking to a man she met on the same dating app. His name was Ryan Mitchell. He was 29, worked in marketing, loved hiking. Different name, different job, different photos. But the pattern was identical. 3 months of daily communication. Voice calls only, no video, always at night, promises to meet. Then he asked her to come to a cafe downtown. She went. He never showed. When she tried to contact him afterward, he vanished. Detective Lynn pulled both reports and laid them side by side. Two women, same app, same city, same time frame, same outcome. She started digging. First, she contacted the dating app's parent company and requested data on both profiles. It took a week, but they sent back what they had. Both accounts had been created using burner email addresses. Both used VPNs to mask their locations. Both uploaded stock photos, and both accounts had been active for exactly 4 months before going dormant. Detective Lynn expanded her search. She reached out to neighboring precincts and posted bulletins in law enforcement networks. Within 2 weeks, she had 4 more reports. Portland, Sacramento, Phoenix, Denver. 6 women total, all between the ages of 22 and 30, all targeted through dating apps, all communicated with for months, all lured to public locations for a first meeting, and in every case, the man never showed. But here's where it got chilling. Detective Lynn noticed something in the timelines. In 3 of the cases, witnesses reported seeing someone, a man in a baseball cap and sunglasses, sitting in a parked car across from the meeting location. Watching, he never approached, never made contact, just watched. And then he left. One of the victims, a woman named Brianna from Sacramento, had felt uneasy and taken a photo of the car. The license plate was partially visible. Detective Lynn ran it. The car had been reported stolen 2 weeks before Brianna's date. The pieces were starting to come together, but they still didn't have a face. They didn't have a name. They didn't have him. Detective Lynn called Maya and asked her to come back to the station. "I need you to walk me through everything again," she said. "Every detail, even things that seem unimportant." Maya sat across from her in a small interview room, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee. "He called me from a different number once," Maya said suddenly. "Just once. It was late, maybe midnight, and he said his phone was acting up, so he was using a friend's. Do you still have that number?" Maya checked her call log. She did. Detective Lynn ran the number. It was registered to a prepaid phone purchased in cash at a convenience store in Tacoma. Dead end. But then Maya remembered something else. He mentioned a place once, a town. He said he grew up there, somewhere small in Washington. I can't remember the name, but it started with an L? Lacey? Linden? Detective Lynn typed rapidly. "Do you remember any other details? Anything about his childhood?" "He said he went to a high school with a blue and gold mascot, and that there was a river nearby where he used to fish. It wasn't much, but it was something." Detective Lynn spent the next 3 days cross-referencing small towns in Washington with blue and gold school colors near rivers. She found 12 possibilities, and then she did something investigative teams do when they hit a wall. She went public. She released a statement to local news outlets. Police are investigating a series of incidents involving online dating fraud. Multiple women have reported being contacted by individuals using fake profiles and stolen photos. If you have been targeted or have information, please contact authorities. The response was immediate. Within 48 hours, Detective Lynn received 17 new reports, and one of them changed everything. Her name was Nicole Grant, and she was 31 years old. She lived in Bellingham, Washington, about 90 minutes north of Seattle. Nicole had seen the news story and recognized the pattern immediately, but her case was different. She had met him in person. Detective Lynn called her within an hour of receiving the tip. "Tell me everything," she said. Nicole's voice was steady but tired, like she'd been carrying this weight for a long time. "It was 2 years ago," she began. "I matched with a guy named Marcus. We talked for months. Same thing. No video calls, always at night. Then he finally agreed to meet." "Where?" "A coffee shop in Bellingham. He actually showed up." Detective Lynn's pulse quickened. "Can you describe him?" "White guy, maybe late 30s. Average height, stocky build. Dark hair, but I think it might have been dyed. He wore glasses, thick frames, and he had this nervous energy, like he was watching everyone around us." "Did you get his real name?" "No, he gave me a fake one. But I did something smart. I screenshot his location when he was near me. We'd been sharing locations on the app as a safety thing, and I grabbed it before we met." "Do you still have it?" "Yeah, I keep everything." Nicole sent the screenshot. It showed a pin drop near the coffee shop, time-stamped and dated. Detective Lynn pulled up the area on a map. Across from the coffee shop was a small parking structure. She contacted the city and requested archived security footage from that date. It took 3 days, but they found it. The footage showed a man entering the parking structure at 1:47 p.m., 13 minutes before Nicole arrived at the cafe. He was wearing a dark jacket, jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low. He walked to the third floor and stood near the railing, looking down at the street. At 2:03 p.m., Nicole appeared on camera walking toward the cafe. The man watched her enter. At 2:06 p.m., he walked back to his car, a silver sedan, and the cameras caught the license plate. Detective Lynn ran it immediately. The car was registered to a man named Kenneth Thayer, age 37. Lived in a small town called Linden, one of the towns Maya had mentioned. Blue and gold school colors, river nearby. It was him. Detective Lynn assembled a team and drove to Linden the next morning. Kenneth Thayer lived in a modest single-story house on a quiet street lined with maple trees. His lawn was overgrown. The curtains were drawn. Detective Lynn knocked on the door. No answer. She knocked again. "Mr. Thayer, this is the police. We need to speak with you." Still nothing. They obtained a warrant and entered the house. What they found inside was disturbing, not because of violence, but because of obsession. The spare bedroom had been converted into what could only be described as a control center. 3 monitors, a laptop, stacks of prepaid phones, notebooks filled with names, dates, and detailed notes about women he'd contacted. On the wall, there were printed photos, screenshots from dating profiles, dozens of them. Maya's face was among them. Detective Lynn's stomach turned, but Kenneth Thayer wasn't there. They searched the house. In the garage, they found more burner phones, SIM cards, and a printer. On the desk, they found a journal. Detective Lynn opened it. The entries were meticulous. Each page detailed a different woman, how long he talked to her, what she revealed about her life, where she agreed to meet, and then, chillingly, there were notes about what he observed when he watched them. She wore a blue dress, checked her phone 17 times, left after 41 minutes. Arrived early, ordered tea, kept looking at the door, drove a gray Honda. He had been there every time, watching, but he never approached, never made contact. It was the control he wanted, the power of knowing he could make someone wait, make someone hope, make someone feel small. Detective Lynn issued a warrant for his arrest. 2 days later, Kenneth Thayer was apprehended at a motel in eastern Washington. He'd been moving between towns using cash, staying off the grid. When they brought him in for questioning, he didn't deny it. "I wasn't hurting anyone," he said flatly. "I just wanted to see if they'd actually show up." "You manipulated them," Detective Lynn said. "You lied to them for months. You watched them without their knowledge." "I never touched them." "You didn't have to." During the investigation, authorities discovered that Kenneth had targeted at least 43 women over a 5-year period. He used over 20 different identities. He traveled across the state lines. He carefully documented every interaction. And while he never physically harmed anyone, the psychological damage was profound. The legal case was complicated. Catfishing isn't a federal crime. But prosecutors built a case around fraud, stalking, and harassment charges. In March 2020, Kenneth Thayer was convicted and sentenced to 6 years in prison. For Maya, the resolution didn't bring the closure she'd hoped for. She struggled with trust for a long time. Every new message felt suspicious. Every profile picture looked fake. The ease she once felt in online spaces was gone. But she wasn't alone. The case sparked a national conversation about online safety, digital deception, and the gray areas of the law. Dating apps updated their verification processes. Advocacy groups launched awareness campaigns, and survivors, including Maya, began sharing their stories publicly. Maya started a blog called Verify Before You Trust, where she offered tips for safe online dating and connected survivors of romance fraud. "I don't want people to be afraid," she wrote in her first post. "I want them to be informed." Jessica never stopped being her fiercest protector. The two of them grew even closer, and Jessica often joked that she'd become the unofficial screener for any future dates. Detective Sarah Lynn continued working on digital crimes and became a leading voice in advocating for stronger laws around online harassment and catfishing. Nicole, the woman whose location screenshot helped crack the case, said in an interview, "I kept that screenshot because I knew something felt wrong. Trust your gut, always." The case also prompted changes in how law enforcement handles online fraud. Multi-state task forces were formed. Data sharing agreements between platforms and police improved, and survivors were taken more seriously. But perhaps the most important impact was cultural. People started talking openly about the emotional toll of digital deception, about how trust can be weaponized, about how someone can hurt you without ever laying a hand on you. Maya graduated to teaching full-time and eventually met someone, through a friend in person, the old-fashioned way. She took things slow. She asked questions. She verified. And she never forgot the lesson she learned that summer. Not everyone online is who they claim to be. Cases like Maya's remind us that danger doesn't always look obvious. It doesn't always announce itself with threats or violence. Sometimes it hides behind kind words and carefully curated images. Sometimes it's patient, calculating, invisible. But here's what I hope you take away from this. Trust is precious, and it should never be given blindly. If something feels off, even if you can't quite explain why, listen to that feeling. Verify who you're talking to. Meet in public. Tell someone where you're going. Take screenshots. Ask questions. Your safety is worth more than the fear of seeming paranoid. Maya walked away from this experience changed but not broken. She chose to turn her trauma into education, her fear into empowerment. And that takes real courage. If you or someone you know has experienced something similar, please know that you're not alone. There are resources available. There are people who will believe you, and there is no shame in asking for help. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, your instincts exist for a reason. I'll see you in the next case.